Breakthrough performance and ecological management. Breakthrough performers are those people who have the ability to operate at a capacity far beyond the norm and sometimes even beyond expectation. Ecological management is the process of managing an organization like an ecosystem. John D. Rockefeller once said, "Good management consists in showing average people how to do the work of superior people." Robert Frost expressed the sentiments of breakthrough performance this way in a poem where he said, "My goal in life is to unite my avocation with my vocation, as my two eyes make one in sight, for only where love and need are one, and work is play for mortal stakes, is the deed ever really done for heaven's or future sake." The idea of creating a passion where your work and play are the same and they make a difference in the world is, I think, at the core of what sets apart breakthrough performers from the norm. Breakthrough performers have learned to respond to stressors in three ways that the average person has not. First, they are risk takers. They have learned to focus on the opportunities that stressful events represent rather than on the potential dangers. In doing so, they also focus on here and now as opposed to the way things used to be or the ideal that they would like them to become. Second, they are internally motivated to give their best in whatever the situation is. Breakthrough performers have made their work and play one so that they are fully involved in what they are doing. Third, they take responsibility for their lives. The response to a stressful event is within their control. They take initiative to make things happen rather than wait for them to occur. They can choose to be centered in any stressful situation that life presents. All of us have the potential to be breakthrough performers. Breakthrough performance skills are teachable, and breakthrough performers can be characterized as follows. 1, they have the ability to be mentally relaxed and take at least 1 hour per day for themselves. 2, they are confident and optimistic, doing what they want to do and able to take risks. 3, they are physically fit, have good nutrition habits, and are physically relaxed. They also tend to be non-smokers and drink alcohol in minimum amounts, if at all. 4, they can focus on the here and now and can remain centered even under intense crisis situations. 5, they are highly energized and have good time management skills to balance work, play, and relaxation. 6, they have 5 to 10 nourishing relationships from key people in their lives to sustain their high levels of creativity, extraordinary awareness, and excellent performance. One example of a breakthrough performer is Roger Bannister, the first human to break the 4-minute mile. As can be seen from the graph, the record for the mile is continually getting faster. In 1875, the world's record of 4 minutes 24 seconds would not even qualify for many high school track teams today. When Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile in 1954, many termed him a breakthrough performer because he achieved beyond the norm and even beyond expectation of what was thought to be humanly possible. Today, the world's record is about 17 seconds faster than what was thought impossible when Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile. Many explanations have been given for this improved performance, including better training techniques, better equipment, better nutrition, and better coaching. Interestingly, all of these same claims could be made for horses. Horses not only have better training, equipment, nutrition, and coaching, they also have breeding, something we do not yet do with humans. Yet if you look at the 5 fastest times ever in the Kentucky Derby, you can see that the differences are less than 1 second over the past 25 years. A difference so small that the track conditions could have accounted for it. The one thing that humans seem to have over most creatures is the ability for mental training, the ability to imagine ourselves at our best and to actually break through previous barriers or limitations through the integration of body, mind, spirit connections. Many of the ideas for the Whale Breakthrough Performance Program were developed by bringing together the research in sports, business, the arts, and entertainment on common traits of people called breakthrough performers. This information was then compared with leadership experience with field testing and 600 change programs over a 25-year history. What has emerged are some characteristic traits of breakthrough performers and some of the characteristic norms of breakthrough organizations. Just as there are characteristic traits of a breakthrough performer, there are also characteristic norms of breakthrough organizations. Based on over 25 years of research, the following are characteristic norms the Well Center has found to exist in most breakthrough organizations. People work well together. People backstop one another. People see each other as people, not just a pair of hands. People are supportive of one another. People work to build trust and confidence in each other. People can concentrate on the job to be done. People can let their coworkers know when they are bothered or upset. People take time to get to know one another. People provide feedback in constructive ways. People see teamwork, positive communications, and openness as norms to be prized. People are encouraged to be innovative and change policies and procedures when necessary. People are turned on in what they do. People resolve conflicts with win-win solutions. Positive health and wellness programs are provided and their use supported and encouraged. People follow through on their various tasks and the organization is focused on achieving results. Quality goods and service are demanded at all levels of the organization. The positive breakthrough performance norms are something that each manager can work towards. And in the process, there are also some characteristic errors to avoid. Characteristic errors with unsuccessful change programs. Start first with negative blame placing. We need to remember that it is the pollution and not the polluter that needs our attention. Negative blame placing, unfortunately, is destructive. Rather than spending time and energy on who's at fault, we would do better to ask, what do we want and how do we get it? A second error is overemphasis on initial motivation. Advertising and other campaign-type efforts often do bring about some momentary change, but it is the maintenance of change over an extended period that has a lasting impact on positive cultures. Third, appeal to individual heroics. Group-based programs are more likely to be effective than those asking people to, quote, pull themselves up by their own bootstraps, unquote. In the long run, the programs which help people build supportive environments will influence more individuals to change. 4, overemphasis on activities as opposed to results. Activities such as Earth Day celebrations, Bike to Work days, etc., no matter how successful, will have lasting value only when the changes recommended are supported by the underlying culture. 5. An undue focus on unapplied knowledge and information. Knowledge and information, while important ingredients of an environmental management system, are of little value if unapplied. The practical use of the knowledge in day-to-day activities needs to be emphasized. And 6, a we will do it for you approach, rather than together we can do it for ourselves. People need to feel a sense of ownership of the program, which comes from their involvement in the decisions regarding it, and a responsibility for carrying it out successfully. When things are done to and for people rather than with them, many of the worst remnants of an old system remain. The iceberg model. The iceberg model is a metaphor for the breakthrough concept. The tip of the iceberg, above the surface of the water, represents our state of individual health or the health of the organization. If we don't like the tip of our iceberg, we can do things to chisel away at the problem. But whenever we knock some off, more usually comes floating to the surface and emerges when given the opportunity. If we look at this example as having other layers below the surface of the waters, the layer immediately below the waterline would represent our individual lifestyles or the support systems of our cultures. Many of us follow lifestyles we know are destructive to our health, are unsustainable to the environment, but we're unable to change them. To understand that, we look to a deeper level. Here we find what motivates us to lead the lifestyle we have chosen, and what are the norms of the culture that underpin the support systems in our organizations. For example, what payoffs we get from the unhealthy or unsustainable lifestyles, such as poor food choices, large use of energy, or producing large amounts of waste, or in the alternative, the payoffs we get from more healthy and sustainable lifestyles, such as healthy and sustainable food choices, conserving water and energy, reducing consumption and waste, etc. We also begin to understand the powerful influence norms have in our culture. The layer below this level is the spiritual, values, or ethical or cultural vision. It concerns such issues as our purpose in life, our place in the universe, and what we value as a culture. This base level ultimately determines whether the tip of the iceberg is one of well-being and sustainability, or is destructive and unsustainable for us as individuals and as an organization. Breakthrough performers and breakthrough organizations get at the base of the iceberg, where real change and sustained change occurs. When you become more clear on these base of the iceberg questions, your changes will begin to happen, and your chances of breakthrough performance in your personal life and in your organization increase. I want to turn now to a concept I call ecological management. Years ago, I had the opportunity to work for the singer-entertainer John Denver, who said in one of his songs, "There are many ways of being in the circle we call life." Ecological management attempts to find our best way and place of being in the circle we call life, and to help others in the organization do so as well. Ecological management is a process that strives to conserve and keep in balance ecosystems while at the same time conserving resources for both present and future generations. One of the key challenges of ecological management for ecotourism is taking actions that provide for the ethical use of natural resources. My good friend, colleague, and mentor, Bob Samples, observed that the same principles found in the ecological management of the natural world also apply to the management of organizations. Bob defined ecological management as, quote, the process by which we nurture the alignment of human motivation and behavior for mutual purpose, end quote. In nature, every plant and animal species plays a role in maintaining the ecosystem in a sustainable manner. Sometimes the various roles are more important than others, such as when predators need to keep population growth in check, or certain species play a role more valuable for critical habitat due to various natural events such as tornadoes, fire, drought, floods, etc. In each of these situations, a different species or combination of species, be they plant or animal, may play a more critical role in responding to the crisis situation at hand. In normal operations, each species plays a role in sustaining the ecosystem for both the present and the future. In the same way, every person in an organization plays a role in the effective management of the organization. When different crises happen within an organization, like nature, different persons may play more significant roles. In normal operations, each person in the organization plays a role in sustaining the organization and helping it to function at its optimum performance for both the present and the future. Ecological management principles. Some key principles for ecological management in organizations include, but are not limited to, 1. An awareness by all that the organization is in constant change and evolution, and that, like species in an ecosystem, all persons need to adapt and adjust their roles to the current challenges of the organization. 2. Ecological management of organizations must have clearly defined boundaries within which people in the organization operate. 3. Ecological management of an organization strives to provide for the economic, social, and environmental needs of the organization, as well as to give back to the larger community in which it is located. 4. Ecological management in an organization takes advantage of the ability of the various gifts and talents within an organization to respond to different stressors and crises that the organization may encounter. 5. Just as natural systems are strengthened by biodiversity, ecological management encourages diversity within the organization to strengthen its capabilities. 6. Ecological management in organizations strives for sustainability and maintaining economic, social, and environmental systems. 7. Ecological management values science and critical thinking skills to better problem solve for each unique part of the organization. A key to effective ecological management in an organization is learning to focus on people's motivation, not behavior. When an individual's personal motivation is aligned with the organization's vision, a strong foundation for ecological management is ready to take place. From here, there are many types of management that need to simultaneously take place. Some of the major types of management include management of the self, management of relationships, management of the organization, and planetary management, or worldview. We as a species are beginning to look differently as to how the world works. In the management of the self, each person learns that they have different strengths and different weaknesses. Each person has different preferences in their own style of learning, working, and playing. The challenge for each person is to manage themselves in such a way that they make the most of their own personal learning styles and preferences. In the management of relationships, each person has challenges to discover how they co-manage their own personal preferences with that of others, be they spouses, friends, co-workers, business associates, or customers. In the management of an organization, the concept of mutualism is promoted. The organization helps people to find where their personal values align with that of the organization. Many people today choose jobs that are aligned with their values as a higher priority than economic compensation. Ecological management seeks to help find the natural balance between individual and organizational interests. Planetary management is the ecological management that comes with changing worldviews. As a species, many are beginning to look differently as to how the world works. Humans are increasingly beginning to understand the limits of the 9 planetary boundaries identified by the Stockholm Resilience Center. The 9 planetary boundaries include climate change, ocean acidification, ozone depletion, nitrogen-phosphorus imbalance, global freshwater impacts, changes in land use, biodiversity loss, atmospheric aerosol impacts, and chemical pollution. Ecological management is about managing organizations and people as a total system that, like ecosystems, are always changing and seeking greater harmony and balance. Corporate social responsibility. William Clay Ford Jr., executive chairman of the Ford Motor Company, summed it up well when he said, "Creating a strong business and building a better world are not conflicting goals. They are both essential ingredients in long-term success." The Business Dictionary defines corporate social responsibility, or CSR, as, quote, "a company's sense of responsibility towards the community and environment, both ecological and social, in which it operates." Companies express this citizenship through their waste and pollution reduction processes, by contributing educational and social programs, and by earning adequate returns on the employed resources. End quote. Peter Drucker once said, "Management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things." Corporate social responsibility is about leadership, doing the right things. Wangari Maathai once observed, quote, "When resources are degraded, we start competing for them, whether it is at the local level in Kenya, where we had tribal clashes over land and water, or at the global level, where we are fighting over water, oil, and minerals. So one way to promote peace is to promote sustainable management and equitable distribution of resources." End quote. Whether we want to promote peace, justice, or sustainability, we need stronger corporate social responsibility. There are several approaches companies take regarding corporate social responsibility. Key to a successful CSR program is building a good relationship with stakeholders, taking positive actions that benefit both the community and the environment, and sharing results in a transparent way. CSR, if done effectively, allows the company to better brand itself as a company that cares about sustainability and other global issues. Some of the best CSR practices include: 1, developing a solid EMS program with clear goals and measurement. Environmental management systems, at minimum, include sustainability issues of energy, water, recycling, waste management, and supply chain management. In more advanced EMS programs, transportation, plastics, food source, sustainable seafood, clean marinas, and education programs might also be included. At minimum, the EMS will have clearly defined and measurable goals. A solid and operational EMS demonstrates that the organization is serious about sustainability and taking its corporate social responsibility seriously as well. 2, involve stakeholders. Involving stakeholders in the company's CSR work is not only good practice, but opens the door for new synergy to take place among the many stakeholder groups as well as the company. CSR best practices come from companies who connect with stakeholders, not only data on their operations and the results of their programs, but also in telling the company's story. The sharing of the company's goals, objectives, successes, and failures through stories will help build a solid relationship with stakeholders. 3, third-party certification that meets global sustainable tourism criteria standards. Not all certification programs are equal. In fact, some are little more than greenwashing and fail to even provide third-party certification. For certification to be meaningful, it has to be verified by a third party. Dr. John Izzo observed that 80% of consumers want to buy goods or services from someone who is either socially responsible or sustainable. Izzo goes on to say that only 16% of consumers believe advertising that a business makes about its claims to be socially responsible or sustainable. His suggested solution is third-party certification, where someone else is saying the business is socially responsible or sustainable. The gold standard for certification in the tourism industry are the certification programs recognized by the Global Sustainable Tourism Council that meet their criteria. Third-party certification in the tourism industry with GSDC standards is another CSR best practice for the tourism industry. 4, sustainable CSR reporting. How best to report CSR results seems to be a question where the answer is always evolving as new technologies become available. A company might begin practicing conservation of resources through the elimination of the paper report. Best practice companies are using social media pages, YouTube videos, mobile apps, and even games to report their progress to stakeholders. Traditional paper reports are now being made available in downloadable PDF formats that include links to source information. CSR reporting can combine creative presentation formats from social media, infographics, and interactive maps to better engage the stakeholder. 5, transparent reporting. Report sustainability using the Global Reporting Initiative, GRU, framework. Share with your stakeholders your internal business practices, your community outreach, and your collaborations with other organizations, particularly NGOs with similar purposes to that of your stakeholders. Sharing your internal business practices includes how employees are treated, who your supply chain is, how much plastic you use, how much waste to landfill, water conservation measures, how you source your paper and carbon emission reduction efforts. Providing your stakeholders a bigger picture of how you operate your business, showing that you are transparent and encouraging dialogue with your reporting is what is considered best practice. Be more transparent and encourage an open dialogue. Transparent reporting can also be enhanced by the use of social media that encourages response and input from stakeholders. When stakeholders feel they're being listened to and the company's information is more transparent, both trust and brand loyalty are increased. This ends part 3 of the presentation and the last presentation of the course. Hopefully this course has provided you with an understanding and framework to further your own personal development as a foundation of successful management, to develop a shared vision, sense of community, and positive culture to increase the likelihood of success of your management, the knowledge and tools to implement a cultural change process within your ecotourism operations, the knowledge and tools to develop a cultural-based environmental management system. In addition, it's provided you an introduction to breakthrough performance and ecological management principles and the important role and examples of best practice for corporate social responsibility. Like a natural ecosystem, all of these components play an important role in successful management. Together, they provide you a path for being a successful, productive manager, as well as a leader in your organization and community. As you have learned in this course, being an effective manager is really all about ongoing development. Personal development, development of a positive, supportive culture, development of your environmental management system, leadership development, development of your corporate social responsibility program, and development of the employees you manage. All a continuous journey, not a destination. I wish you the best on that journey, and thank you very much for your participation.